Got us an 09G and a Volkswagen, which is a little bit different. On a Volkswagen, they got this one coming out the back. Normally both these harnesses are coming in the side right here. $10mm on your harnesses. And that one's missing its bolt. Neutral switch is 10. If it doesn't want to come up, this little nut right here is 7/8. Just back it off a little bit. And should make it easier to come off. $12mm on our case bolts, and depending on what you got, these studs may or may not be there, and they may be here, they may be there, so just pay attention to where they're coming off of. Some have a cooler up here on top, some don't. Depending on what kind of cooler assembly you have is what kind of valve body you got. 'Go ahead and pull our pan and our valve body off. $10mm on the filter. Kind of get up between the connector and the solenoid and give it a little pry up and pull at the same time, and it should come out. not uncommon to crack that connector on the solenoid. They're not the easiest things to unplug. There we go. All right. Eight millimeters on these two brackets right here. And pay attention to how your wires are run, because it makes a difference when you go back. You'll be fighting them. 10 millimeters on your temp sensor, and this little bracket that holds it down. And this is a little bit different than your 09, most of your 09Gs. You usually got two harnesses coming in right here, and then you got this one that comes around up here. It doesn't normally go across up here, so this one's a little bit different. I'm going to take this, bend these tabs out. $10mm on the nut. And this little keeper. $10mm. Pay attention to where your brackets go. Valve bodies are always worn out, so always replace them. This is the code that you're going to need when you go to order one. This is a CO. Now, most of your 09Gs don't have this little filter right here. You got an accumulator. Usually there's two springs right here. You got your two speed sensors. 10mm on this one. Most of your 09Gs. This one's a 10. That one down there is an 8. Pull our harnesses out. Alright, a lot of times you can go ahead and pull your differential out. Sometimes you can't. This one we can't. You got 12s on the pump. We got a seal on the pump, seal in the case, and seal in the case. Let's see if we can get an overhead view of this. Alright, there's a little keeper right here. You just got to turn that thing. There we go. And turn it to where you see the roll pin. Let's turn. Okay, here we go. Get you a punch. Did I miss it? Let's see what we got here. I haven't gotten there yet. That's not it. Okay, there we are. Punch. Just drive that through the little keeper. You don't even need to put that thing back on there. And I keep my roll pin off to the side also. Come on, baby. There we go. Alright. Pull your linkage rod out. Pull your linkage out. Usually not this difficult coming out. There we go. Now I try to keep all this stuff in there if I can, because it's such a pain. I have seen several of these cracked and broken. And a lot of times you can get, pull this drum off, you can get down enough that you can get this out of the way, but you don't have to disassemble all that linkage, because it is a super pain if you disassemble it. There's a washer on top. Make sure our pinions are in good shape. Our sun gear. A bearing and a race. And the bearing back here. And our race right here. Pull that drum out. There's another bearing. And there's a race down in that one. And cushion ring. Here's our race for that bearing right there. Splines are okay. And you pull this plate out usually. Sometimes this has a snap ring that holds it in. There, let's see if we can get this out here. There we go. Our diff, we're going to have to put this diff on our transfer case out there and make sure our splines are okay. They're pretty rusty. Now, if we're lucky, we can get this out of here without having to disassemble that whole thing. Good deal. I'm going to leave all of our linkage in there. Sometimes you have to take all that apart. 45 torques on these. And he's got these little keepers on the back of them. Alright, this is way loose. I don't normally see them that loose. Washer. Sprag. Got a bearing up in here. And a race. You leave all this together. snap ring. Alright, you need to make sure that this sleeve has not turned. The opening should be, the big opening should be right there. And we got our piston in here. Bearing and race. Bearing. Pistons. Nice spring retainer, I don't know what you would call it. That goes on there. Another one. A washer on our pump. 30 torques. Look okay there. Bushing's looking pretty warm. Triangle up and triangle up. Alright, go write this one up. Alright, these are usually pretty straightforward. Always replace your pistons. Always replace your valve body. So that's what I need. Now let's get with pistons, filter, valve body. This one has a bearing and a pump, so I don't need a pump bushing. Normally I get a pump bushing. And my converter has an F90 on it. And let's see if we can get this one sold.